In fact, sometimes I felt like I couldn't even see what tree was in front of me, or worse yet, that I was just knocking my head against a tree trying to get through it. But this sailing system, this is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been looking for you, because this is the journey that I've been on. Welcome to Beyond the Business Plan. I'm LeAnn Lyon, your guide on this journey to success. We will explore the inspiring stories of visionary leaders and groundbreaking entrepreneurs and unveil the tools and strategies that can empower you to manage your business from anywhere in the world. Join me, LeAnn, as we learn, laugh, and take the leap towards unleashing your joyful business journey. And let's make it happen now. Ever feel like you're meant for more than just the daily grind you're kind of used to? Imagine trading exhaustion for adventure and burnout for boldness. Today, I'm excited to announce the sailing system, a brand new, clear path inspired by my own journey for reclaiming joy and energy as you build something truly your own. This episode is your call to brave the open waters and set your sight on the horizon you're meant to reach. If you're new here, today's a solo episode, and I will be sharing strategies, stories, and mindset shifts just for you, the aspiring burnout pro ready to write your next chapter. On my other shows, we bring in incredible guests whose real life pivots will inspire your own. Check out my most recent episode and the one that comes out tomorrow. Either way, this is your launchpad for authentic, joyful entrepreneurship. So grab your favorite mug, coffee, tea, whatever, and let's dive in. Here we are on episode 22. And if you've been here before, you've probably heard a little bit about my story, how I was a teacher. I sometimes still jokingly say I'm a 26-year recovering teacher, where I was locked into a classroom with no windows. And I live in Minnesota, which meant no sunlight for weeks on end. So that is one form of burnout, but there's so many other types of burnout. Maybe for you, you stepped into the career of your dreams, the one you'd been dreaming of since you were 10 years old, and you got the degree and you got the job. And that was 5, 10, 20 years ago. And it's just not the same. It's not what you thought it would be, or perhaps things like what happened in 2020 have shifted things. You thought it was going to be all about the water cooler chat, and there is no water cooler anymore. So whatever the case is, wherever you're experiencing burnout, I want you to listen to this episode and tune into your heart. Listen a little deeply and say, is there something more that I'm being called to? Because 41% of Americans have a longing inside of them that says, I want to be my own boss. I want to own a business. So if that's for you, the sailing system is your guide, and we're going to dive right into that right now. Because Joyminder Solutions is for burned out professionals ready to reclaim their energy and purpose by boldly embarking on an adventurous, action-driven journey towards joyful, meaningful entrepreneurship. And it is a journey. I really encourage you, go back and listen to all the other episodes where we've talked to entrepreneurs and said, what did you love about it? What did you not expect about it? Has it been all roses? Of course not, right? But it's not all thorns either. So if that call, that longing is inside of you, keep listening. Because here's what that call or that longing might sound like inside your head. What if I lose what I already have? It's not great, but at least it's safe. Or trying something new is too risky. I could end up with nothing. That, my friends, is fear. And we're going to dive into some of these things. I want you to listen carefully. If these are showing up in your life, in your head, whether it's on a daily basis or perhaps hour by hour, this is why you know you might be called to something else. How about this one? I'll deal with this later. Maybe things will just fix themselves. Or if I don't think about how unhappy I am, maybe it'll just go away. That, my friends, is avoidance. Ready for the next one? It's too much effort to change. I'll just keep doing what I've always done. Why bother? Nothing ever really changes anyway. Inertia. Ready for the fourth one? It's the letter L, lament. If only things were different, I'd be happier. I wish I could go back and make better choices. Sorry, my friends, not going to really happen. Another one? Isolation. No one really understands what I'm going through. I'll figure it out on my own. I don't want to burden anybody with my problems. No way, my friends. No way. Got two more. N, neglect. I don't have time to take care of myself right now. Self-care and growth will just have to wait. I have to survive. We're almost done here, and I promise I'm going to make this all better soon. I hate that these are thoughts that might be going through your head. I do, because these are thoughts that have gone through my head. Final one, G, giving up. Maybe this is just as good as it gets for me. There's really no point in trying anymore. I should just accept things as they are. Fear, avoidance, inertia, lament, isolation, neglect, giving up. Do you know what that spells? Failing. And that's a really tough word. But there is more, and there is better, and there is hope. And that is what we're going to cover next. And that is what the not failing system, but the sailing system is all about. So, if you're resonating so far, but you know you need to move past, you've already figured out that maybe you're in that system we just described, I want you to grab my worksheet, which is in the show notes this time. Very special for this first episode about the sailing system. And as we prepare to dive into the full sailing system, designed to guide your course with confidence and clarity, I want to pause and share something exciting. Our upcoming Joyminder Start, Restart Your Business Summit. This is a perfect opportunity for you to go ahead and get your free ticket. So keep your eyes on the horizon and stay on deck. We'll be right back with the sailing system. Hey, sail setters, are you ready to jumpstart your entrepreneurial journey or give your business a powerful refresh? Join us at the next Restart Your Business Summit, where you'll discover the tools, strategies, and inspiration you need to thrive. Learn more at joyminder.com. That's JOYMINDER.com, and look for the Start, Restart Your Business Summit icon. Don't miss out. Your future business awaits. Welcome back. Let's keep steering the ship towards the success and fulfillment you deserve with the Joyminder sailing system. We just covered the failing system, and it didn't feel that good. I get that. It was, self-talk that unfortunately can get in a lot of our heads. And I tell you, it was in mine too. Like, well, I signed up for this. I decided to be a teacher. This is what I've got to do. But it's really not truth. Don't listen to the lies you're telling yourself. So you're not alone with that. And many, many, many people do feel and say those things on a daily basis, but there is a solution. And now we're going to get into that. So the solution is what I call the sailing system. And it's much more inspirational. First of all, here's the good news. You're already on this path because you're listening here. You made it through what I just did, right? So you know that there's something more. You've already done the first step in the sailing system, which is the letter S, which stands for set your course. You're already saying, I'm ready for something more. You're clarifying your purpose, your values, your vision. You are figuring out why you want to start a business or that you want to start a business, even if you don't know what that is yet and what success might look like for you. This is the dreaming and the planning phase. And I have so much goodness in that worksheet that I mentioned in the show notes. Go grab that because there's so much goodness there that can help you start to clarify that. Now, some of you have even gone beyond the beginning start steps of the sailing system. Step number 2 is A, anchor your readiness. You're really evaluating your current situation. Are you going to stay where you are while you start something on the side? Where are your skills? What does your finance look like? What do your support systems look like? Do you need any coaching or training before you jump into something? Making sure that you have what it takes to make your dream come true. And let me tell you, you do. You do. This is the practical preparation stage. It requires honest self assessment. But again, you don't have to do this alone. I would love to have a conversation with you, in fact. So, in that resource, you will have an opportunity to meet with me, share where you're at, and I'll help direct you to some resources that can help you. Step number 3 is I. This is where you begin to ignite your commitment. You've decided to move forward. You've made the decision. You're building your confidence. You're committing fully, and you're gathering the people and resources to help back your new venture. Or maybe you're still looking for those resources. Once again, we can help you with that. So come on over, get the download, and we will dig into this more. And by the way, there's some bonus material in that worksheet that'll redirect you to a new blog post that I've put out and also talk about some things I've discussed in previous episodes. How do you have those difficult conversations? Because word to the wise, your friends, your family may not be super supportive of you making a change. In fact, my next episode with Dr. Brian Grossman, this will be episode number 23, which comes out on Wednesday evening, definitely has gone through some things with friends and family as he's pushed forward to start his own new adventure. So look forward to that episode coming up. But I, again, is igniting that commitment and having those conversations. Again, episode 16, if you go back to that where I talk about systems, have a system with your spouse about your entrepreneurial journey. It's super important. By the way, that's a great episode. Just saying. Go back and listen to that one. Okay, step number 4, the letter L. Launch into the unknown. Yay! Now, I like the word leap as well because, show name, beyond the business plan. Learn, laugh, and take the leap into the unknown. You're officially starting. Now, some of you might be at this stage already right now, and you're ready to get rid of all that negative self-talk that was part of the failing system. You're halfway through the sailing system. You've officially started. You're setting up your business. You're taking action. Maybe it's still a side hustle. That's fine. But you're involved with the excitement and the uncertainty of the first real steps. What do those first steps look like? They're a little different for everybody. For some people, it's just getting started on some social media posts. For other people, it's setting up a social media account, maybe getting on LinkedIn for the first time. Other people, it really depends on where you're at and what you feel you need. Perhaps it is putting up a website before you get going. Maybe it's just doing some coaching calls with people. If you're trying to be a coach, find people you can coach. Do some trade. Do it for free. Make sure that your process works. Launching into the unknown is halfway through the sailing system. It's super exciting. And then that eventually will bring you to the integrate and adapt stage, the I in the second I in the word sailing. Integrate and adapt is about learning as you go. Trust me. You definitely learn as you go. We are on episode 22. I know I've mentioned that before, but even in this process, I've been learning and adapting as I go. If you listen to episode 19, don't. It was all about just a very authentic episode because I had no voice to record and I just took 10 minutes and basically said, hey, I didn't want this episode to be this way, but here it is. Sometimes you have to adapt to the current situations. A quote that I put into the worksheet talks about ocean-going vessels. When a ocean-going vessel sets its sail, so to speak, okay, probably not sails any longer, but imagine that. I mean, how did Columbus, which definitely was a sailing ship, and they had to adjust and adapt according to the wind, according to the waves, according to the storms, according to whatever was going on. That's the part of the integrate and adapt portion of entrepreneurship. And that's where, again, if you go back and listen to a lot of my other episodes, that's where people both get excited, but also find their challenges in being an entrepreneur. It's part of the journey. You can't get away from it. Nobody is ever going to ever probably set up a system, set up a business at design, and man, that's exactly what they do 100%. I like the story actually about the rocket ships going to the moon. I think 95 to 98% of the time, the ship was off course. As in, if they'd continued, those astronauts would have never come home. And so it was a constant readjusting, finding out where they were, realigning, aiming towards the moon again. It's a lot like that in entrepreneurship as well. So the second I in the word sailing is integrate and adapt, learning as you go. Now we get to N, kind of a related to I, and that's navigating the storms, because just like you have to integrate and adapt, you are going to have to navigate some storms. Like what happened in 2020. Suddenly, all sorts of things changed for a lot of businesses. Some businesses closed down, including mine, because I had just started a travel business in 2019. That was a storm. But you know what? It led to this. And frankly, I love this. So navigating the storms is part of it. You're going to encounter obstacles. You're going to encounter setbacks. If you know that in advance, I think it makes it a little easier to practice that resilience, the problem solving, the steady leadership that you will need to stay on course. And finally, the G of the sailing system is growing and to guide forward. You've gained your momentum, you're scaling your business, possibly even getting to the point of mentoring other people like I'm doing. And it's such a blessing. And exploring new opportunities beyond your initial goals. And by the way, that may look very different from what you think it will look like today. So if you're all the way to the grow and guide forward already, congratulations. I would love to talk with you. I'd love to explore this whole thing with you. Hey, maybe you'd like to be a guest on my show. That would be lovely. But if you're anywhere in the beginning, from setting your course to anchoring your readiness, go get that download. If you're resonating with any of it and you're ready to move from failing to sailing in your business, that free, powerful worksheet will help you identify exactly where you are, uncover what's holding you back, and show you immediate steps you can take to start moving forward. Get the From Failing to Sailing guide now, absolutely free, by clicking the link in the show notes. You'll also get access to my best tips, inspiration, and community directly into your inbox and through our various platforms. So pause this episode, grab your copy, and then come on right back. I'll be right here. Hey, coffee aficionados and entrepreneurs, LeAnn Lyon here. Are you craving that caffeine kick, but looking for a healthier alternative? Well, 9 years ago, I discovered the ultimate collection of energizing options to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit without the jitters. Discover your next favorite pick-me-up today and keep your business dreams brewing strong. Hear what it did for me by visiting this website, whyIlovemycoffee.com. Yes, that's the URL, whyIlovemycoffee.com, because your peak performance deserves more than just another cup of joe. Now, as I wrap up this episode, as we launch into the deeper explanation of all of this, the next 4 episodes leading up to the Start Restart Your Business Summit are going to take deeper dives into each of these letters. And in between, we are going to have awesome interviews with established entrepreneurs who are also, by the way, going to be the speakers on the summit. So we already heard from Maya Norwood. Her episode was the most recent one. Tomorrow is Dr. Brian Grossman. He will be speaking at the summit as well. And then we have just a whole list of excellent entrepreneurs coming up. So they will be filling in the gaps. So we have Brian and 6 others. We've got my 4 episodes leading up to the summit. And then the summit. So if you haven't done this already, again, in the show notes, you can grab your free ticket to join the Start Restart Your Business Summit. Find out where you are in your sailing system so that you can come into the summit ready to learn and get what you need to build your entrepreneurial journey. So in closing, I just want to share how personal this sailing system is for me. Now, first of all, why is it called the sailing system? Well, because I'm a nerd and one of my big goals in life is to sail, well, boat, the Great Loop. The Great Loop is a 6,000-mile journey. Fewer people have accomplished the Great Loop than have climbed Mount Everest. And fun fact, just last week, there was a gentleman, 71 years old, who completed the loop in 19 days and 13 hours. He broke the record. Furthermore, not only was he 71 years old, he did it all by himself, but he did it in what's called a John boat. It's basically a fishing boat. It's a 16-foot aluminum fishing boat with an engine hanging off the back, and he had to steer it by hand the whole way around. Can you imagine? That's a lot of miles every single day to be on a boat. He did have a canopy over him, but no bed. I don't know exactly how he managed the whole thing at all. I'm guessing he did a lot of planning though. But it was a really inspirational, and literally hundreds and thousands of people were following him on this journey and cheering him on. And at one point, he actually thought he wasn't going to make it because he hit something called a wing dam. These are like piles of rocks underwater, not usually visible. Really bad combination, right? But they're used in the Mississippi and other rivers to help control the flow of the water so that it can be navigable by the bigger barges, the commercial side of a lot of our rivers. But they can do a lot of damage to a small boat like his, or even a boat like mine. You hit one of those wing dams and it can absolutely destroy your prop. It can take out your lower motor. I mean, it can completely disable a boat. And he did hit one of those. And they thought, well, that's it. He can't possibly get that repaired and finished. And yet he did. 6 hours. He broke the record by 6 hours. And so, yes, this is a very inspiring story for me that, perseverance and things like that. By the way, I have no desire to do the loop fast. In fact, I want to take it slow. I won't break the record for the longest time it takes to do the loop because some people literally stretch it out by doing just a couple weeks a year until they get the whole thing done. But, y'all have your own goals, and I have my own goals for doing the loop. But the sailing system is just because I love water. I always have. Fun fact, I was a synchronized swimmer in high school. I went to the Junior Olympics regional competitions 4 times, took second place 4 times. And I am just a water baby. So boating, sailing, all of that, that's just part of my nature. Part of doing the Great Loop is I will look towards getting my captain's license in the next couple of years in order to help with what we're going to be doing. So it won't all be on my husband to do all of the tricky work. He's really good at it though, I will say. So sailing system just ties into all that. Now, you don't have to love water. You don't have to like boating. You might not like it at all. But the sailing system works because it's the journey that I've been on as well. Because when I had a business close in 2019, when I had another business close in 2020, I definitely hit some rough waters. And yes, I had a vague sense, like I knew I wasn't going to go back to teaching. I really didn't want to go out and find a job and work for somebody else after I'd been on my own for so long. But what exactly I was going to do, I wasn't sure. And for 5 years, I did a lot of different things and a lot of things I enjoyed. And I built communities and I worked with people and, but I was still finding my way while doing the things, right? And so it's really only been in the last couple of months that some of the clarity has come back. I'll tell you the truth, in March of this year, a lot of things fell away. I've mentioned this before. A lot of things fell away again. And I thought, what am I doing? Where am I going? I could barely see the path in front of me through the forest, much less all the way to the other side. In fact, sometimes I felt like I couldn't even see what tree was in front of me, or worse yet, that I was just knocking my head against a tree trying to get through it. But this sailing system, this is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been looking for you. Because this is the system that I've been on. This is the journey that I've been on. I have navigated the storms. I have found the inspiration. I have found the community. I've had the conversations with my husband. I've been called crazy by more than one person. And really, this time, everything has become very clear. Now, that said, does that mean nothing's ever going to change in the future? That would be awesome. But no, that's probably not going to happen either. This is a process. This is a calling on my life to support and serve people like you. And so, as we go through this together, as we build community, as we share our dreams and our goals, you don't have to want to do the Great Loop or climb Mount Everest, either one. If your goal is to, as Maya said in the last episode, be able to raise your kids and still earn an income on your own terms, phenomenal goal, right? So there's so many journeys. Please tune in and listen to some of these other episodes. I think they'll really inspire you. That's why I've been doing them. And so for the rest of this season, we are on episode 22 of the season. I've kind of outlined my shows and the shows of my speakers for the summit. And then we will wrap up the rest of the season by diving into more resources that I have been putting together for you for years, not even fully knowing how this is all going to come together. But come together, it has. So, with that, I'm going to invite you once again to remember you don't have to do this alone. You can start sailing today. Get your link from the show notes below, and then you can sign up to meet with me and maybe jump onto a call. I have open calls. You don't have to be face to face with me and feel like that's anything big deal. Come on over to one of my open calls on Mondays and Thursdays. I open up a Zoom call just for anybody to drop in and have a conversation with me. So look for the link to those calls in the show notes as well. So many opportunities, but there's only so much time. And by the way, the time that matters the most is yours. How much longer are you going to put up with some of those negative thoughts, those feelings of the defeat that we started the show out with? How much longer are you going to live with fear, avoidance, inertia, lament, isolation, neglect, or feeling like you just are going to give up? Trade it all in. Trade it in. Set your course, anchor your readiness, ignite your commitment, launch into the unknown. Definitely going to change that to leap into the unknown. Launch, I don't know, more of a sailing term. Okay, tell me what you think. Launch or leap, okay? Integrate and adapt, navigate the storms, and most of all, best of all, grow and guide others forward as well. Whew. This episode is so exciting. Next episode, next solo episode, coming up next week on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Time, I will take a deeper dive into the first two letters of the sailing system. We're going to talk more about setting your course. We're going to talk more about anchoring your readiness. So You can set your calendar for that. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube or however you do it on any podcast system you like. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I am, what else? iHeartRadio and a whole bunch of them. But best of all, go to rss.com, look for my name, look for the Beyond the Business Plan podcast, whichever one, both will bring them to you. And then just make sure you get the alerts and know what's coming up as we unleash your joyful business journey with the sailing system. Okay, change is possible. You can do this. I believe in you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to the whole episode. Thank you for facing some tough truths. This was not an easy start to this episode, but you're here at the end. So remember that your sailing journey starts with a single paddle. If you're feeling burnt out but hopeful, if you yearn for more from your work and your life, I'm here to help you make the leap. Download your free assessment, set your course for joy, because the greatest adventure begins exactly where you are. So thank you for joining me on the Beyond the Business Plan to unleash your joyful business potential. And remember that entrepreneurship is a voyage. Find your tribe for the journey. I'm LeAnn Lyon, your Chief Joy Officer. And until next time, keep spreading the joy, keep leading with heart, and I'll catch you on the next wave of success. Thank you all for joining us today on Beyond the Business Plan. It's been a joy and a privilege to share this space with you. For more inspiring stories, tools, and actionable insights, make sure to follow us on your favorite video platform. Visit my website, LeAnnLyon.com, and keep leading with heart. And I'll catch you on the next wave of success.